Danyel Smith, a renowned journalist and author who most of us probably recognize as the editor-in-chief of both Vibe and Billboard magazines, recently shared that in the mid-90s, Diddy threatened to have her unalived in the trunk of a car if he wasn't given editorial control over his Vibe cover. So we're going to get into exactly what happened between her and Diddy in this video. But first, if you're watching, you know the drill. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. And everyone, click the thumbs up button. Danyel Smith's career is defined by her groundbreaking work as the first African-American editor of both Vibe and Billboard magazines. Her tenure at these publications coincided with significant moments in music history, including the rise of hip-hop and the tragic deaths of icons like Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. Danielle's ability to capture the essence of these events with authenticity and depth has solidified her reputation as one of the foremost voices in music journalism. She's had a prolific career chronicling pop and hip-hop culture, and she revealed the details of Puffy threatening her life in her memoir, Shine Bright, a very personal history of Black women in pop. According to Danielle, the confrontation with Diddy occurred in the mid-1990s, which was a tumultuous period for hip-hop journalism. So she wrote an article for the New York Times, and this is what she said. Hip-hop was both in mourning and in marketing meetings. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, Biggie's creative partner and label boss, was the personification of this dichotomy. His Bad Boy Records was having a $100 million year, much due to the work of Biggie and Mace, as well as Diddy's own debut album, No Way Out, which was anchored by the blockbuster Biggie tribute, I'll Be Missing You featuring Faith Evans. Other singles, It's All About the Benjamins and Been Around the World, functioned as a score for hip-hop's megawatt moment, its commercial evolution and international expansion. So I wanted Diddy on the cover of Vibe's December 1997, January 1998 double issue, and I wanted him to wear white feathered wings. My point of reference was the poster for Heaven Can Wait, a 1978 film starring Warren Beatty. The movie is about a quarterback who dies before his time and is reincarnated as an idiosyncratic and callous billionaire. Vibe's working cover line for Sasha Jenkins' article was The Good, the Bad, and the Puffy. Not so elegant, but it would work if the fashion director, Emil Wilbekin, and I got Diddy, then known as Puffy or Puff Daddy, to put on the angel wings. And if we also got a shot that looked even slightly mischievous, we could do a split run of the cover, with one with heavenly signifiers and another with hellish ones, with the possible cover line, bad boy, what you gonna do? So they were definitely onto something with them hellish ones, the hellish magazine cover. She said he cooperated up to a point, but eventually his controlling ways took hold. A few days later, Diddy wanted to see the Vibe covers before they went to press. It wasn't our policy to show covers before publication, so after I told him no, we heard that he planned to come to our office and force us to show him what we'd chosen, and to make us choose something else if he didn't like what he saw. I'm sure I was concerned, but my priority was getting the issue to the printer on time. There was vague talk about Diddy beating a woman at the Bad Boy offices. In 1996, he was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a New York Post photographer with a gun. Diddy was also busy denying that he had something to do with the 1996 unaliving of Tupac Shakur. In September 1997, Diddy had a reputation for shaking tables. I reconciled the rumors with his relevance, and the math was ugly and simple. I had to have him on the cover. So a few Vibe employees put together a plan to keep me safe if he chose to visit that day. I was in my office on the 3rd floor of a building on the boring corner of Lexington and 32nd Street. A few doors away from me, Vibe's research chief, Ava Chen, was with the managing editor, Jesse Washington, in his office with her back to the open door. Jessie looked over her head as if someone was behind her, and he stood up. He's 6'4", and Ava saw him trying to make himself even taller, as though he were squaring off. So she turned toward the door and saw Diddy with 2 security guards. Diddy asked, "Where's Danielle?" The receptionist had already notified other colleagues that Diddy had walked into the editorial bullpen. As he and his 2 associates looked into various cubicles and offices, my coworkers eased into mine. Paper proofs of the cover story and both the angelic and devilish covers were on my desk. I grabbed the unruly stack of 11 by 17s. Staff members shuttled me from office to office to the spiral staircase and the alternate second floor elevator bank. I made it to the 32nd Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue, clutching the proofs. Jesse eventually came down. He took the pages from me, flagged a taxi, and put me in a yellow cab home to Brooklyn. The next day, though, I was right back in the office. My assistant received a call on my line. "It's Puffy," she said. I got my mind right and picked up. He was still on message. He wanted to see the covers. I was still on message. It's not what we do. It was then that Diddy told me, as I've retold hundreds of times over the years, that he would see me unalive in the trunk of a car. Not missing a beat, I told him he needed to take the threat back. "Take it back," I said, sounding as if I were 10. "Take what back?" Then with a vile laugh, "F you." "Take it back now," I said, "or I'm calling my lawyer and you're going to jail." He said, "I know where you are right now, right on Lexington." I called my lawyer. I don't know what he said to Diddy, but within 2 hours, Diddy faxed over an apology. One of my male bosses was furious that I had not involved him. Diddy had called him to complain that I sicked my lawyer on him, as if I somehow wasn't playing fair. Soon after those menacing encounters, I walked into work one morning to find my staff members tamping down panic. A couple of servers, which back then were as big as end tables and twice as heavy, had been stolen. And the scuttlebutt was that the theft was an inside job, that someone on Vibe's publishing side had let in movers from Bad Boy. It was almost time to send pages to the printer, and the whole issue was saved on those servers. All the editorial changes, all the pages with the advertising adjacencies that had been paid for by clients, gone. Now, in response to fact-checking inquiries, Diddy, via his representatives, would not comment on the record for this article. Y'all, it's not surprising to hear that Diddy threatened to unalive Danyel Smith, considering his history of harming women both in his personal life and his professional life. But y'all, leave a comment and let me know what you think about the situation. Are you surprised? And are you surprised that Diddy was allowed to do business this way, like business by force, business by violence? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching.